in a single breath, beyond the waves, beyond the sky, until I finally reach the shore. Inhale, exhale, inhale. The Sandcastles, a Netflix original from Lebanon. It was written and directed by Maddie Brown and written by two other people, and takes place on a small island in northern Lebanon where a family of four, a dad, a mother, a brother, a sister, two, are just trying to live their life in the best way possible. They have certain rations and they make do with, living off of nature, living off of the land, and doing the best they can to make a bad situation really ideal for the children in particular. That's what you do as a parent. You try to give to your kids what you didn't have and prop them up so they can carry on and do some great things. But it turns out that this particular island maybe isn't as idyllic as they would have initially thought. We get little tidbits of information and we get certain things going on, certain indications that, yeah, things might not be all they're cracked up to be. And okay, I'm not going to mix words here. There is a good message in this movie. But as far as, being any kind of psychological thriller, there are elements to this that sort of work. And they try to keep a little bit of a mystery going, but within the first 10 to 15 minutes, if you can't guess where this thing's going, I really don't know what to tell you. It is very well shot. The cinematography is fucking incredible. There's some good sound design. The performances are decent enough. I think the two children do a pretty good job, all things considered. But the problem is there's not enough meat to this to really make it totally unsettling besides, what we see at the end. And it is absolutely horrifying given, what we see by the end of this movie. But it's not really horrifying. It's not particularly interesting as a psychological thriller with horror elements and everything. And it just ends up kind of being there with a few decent moments, a few things that stick out. But nevertheless, I've definitely seen worse. I encourage you guys to check this out. Maybe you'll feel differently. But this is just kind of one of those films that is going to fall by the wayside in the Netflix catalog. Even with the decent performances, even with the fact that Nadine looks fucking incredible. It just, I don't even have a whole lot to really dive into, but I do have to say that the one that plays Jana does a pretty good job as the curious, little girl that just wants to explore and figure out some stuff that's going on. Adam being a little bit older of the two children. Teenager being a little bit acting out. Nabil, the dad wanting to do his best to provide for his family. And also Yasmin, the aforementioned incredibly talented and incredibly attractive Nadine. They do some good. They make the material work as good as they can, and they're really the only four featured people. I mean, any other extras aren't really mentioned in the credits, or at least on IMDb. But nevertheless, it is what it is. Now, again, if you can't guess where this is going, I really don't know what to tell you. But that being said, great cinematography. Some pretty good sound design, and a few moments that are a little bit unsettling, but a lot of it just is kind of there, especially since a lot of this material I've seen done before. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So, they're all dead. They're all dead. How did they get to be all dead? Well, it turns out in trying to escape the conflicts happening in Lebanon, they ended up basically dying. They ended up totally dying, and there's a message at the end of this movie that I'm just going to basically say right now. A bunch of children, like 500 million children are basically exposed to all this terrible, horrifying, just incredibly fucking tragic, shit going on. I mean, no child should have to go through that, and it's fucking bullshit that people are caught in that conflict in general, and they have to escape by creating their own paradise. That's what this is. This is in the imagination of Jana, and even though there are certain, it tries to, push, a couple different directions to maybe give you the indication that it could be going elsewhere, it's pretty straightforward. I will say the stuff near the end where it does show, bombings and, stuff going on, everything, and how this family suffered and how others suffered. There's a school, a class going on where, an explosion happens, and that's absolutely horrifying. But overall, the movie just ends up, it ends up having a little bit to it, but not enough to fully gel, in my opinion, as a movie. As a message, the message is powerful, but I don't feel that this necessarily registered as any kind of psychological thriller. My personal opinion. And Jana keeps finding certain things. We get, we get some decent moments, but realistically, for every decent moment, there's enough stuff that just kind of drags. Again, it is very well shot, it is very well done. But yeah, it's just like a version of the others where it's like they're dead. I mean, I'm sorry if I spoiled that one, but that movie's been out since 2001. So yeah, they created their own paradise. Well, Jana did, and there's after the stuff that we see with the haunting bombings and all the stuff going on, Adam watching TV, and then stuff happening in this desolate house that's basically destroyed. Nobody should have to go through that shit. We see Jana on a rescue raft, and she's seemingly rescued, or she is just finally ready to go into the light. I assume a lot of this stuff is left up for interpretation. It is what it is. I mean, I didn't hate it. I gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd, but unfortunately, due to my rating system, it still gets an F. It's just not particularly gonna grab me, but I can definitely see why this would appeal to some people. So I encourage you guys to check it out, and really it is haunting what goes on in other countries and the bullshit that especially children have to deal with. That being said, yeah, I'm sorry it gets an F. It's just not interesting to me. Agree, disagree what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Recklin, and I'll see you soon.